HARK! We are here. It is time for this off-center camera episode of Regroup Phase. I did not do my due diligence and play at a local event this week. So instead of bringing you a deck list that hasn't been tested, I am bringing you a box opening. What kind of box opening? Check out what the box opening is after the flip, and then we'll talk a little bit afterwards about what that means for everything else. Originally, I had been saving these to do something called a chaos draft. I had this idea originally when set 1 was just about to release, that I would hold a box of each set of the first 3 sets as it came out to be able to do something cool with basically each player gets a booster of each set. You do a normal draft and then you go from there. I did reach out to some people locally, and plans kind of just never came together. And without basically securing a space in a store myself and charging people and then also doing a bunch of other stuff, there was no real way that I would be able to host this with a group of people that I know to be able to do things. And I know a bunch of people in the comments are gonna be like, oh, well, you could have invited me. Bleh. So instead of doing a chaos draft, what we're going to do is I'm going to open each of these boxes and we're going to take a look at what's inside of them. This is a first edition, quote unquote, Spark of Rebellion box. I saved this from release. I still have my collector boxes up there, not collector boxes, but my collection of boxes. So that's never going to get opened, never going to get changed. These are the leftover box from each case, basically, that I had opened, minus the ones that you saw on stream that have been done over the last year. So we're going to crack open Spark first, then Shadows, then Twilight. We're going to take a look at everything that's in there, not necessarily the commons and uncommons, but we'll take a look at the hyperspaces, the rares, and hopefully get some cool legendaries. There's obviously still stuff from each set that I'm looking for. Without any further ado, let's crack this Spark of Rebellion box. And I'm just going to go through this. I'm going to try not to edit too much because there's not really anything worth editing when it comes to these types of things. We're just going to crack open the box and see what's there. It's been a while since I've opened any Spark of Rebellion packs. I actually haven't purchased any of the reprint because I have most of the things that I need minus legendaries, and I think I'd rather just buy the legendaries outright than try to do anything like that. So we're going to take this stuff over here. We're going to slide this over. I have noticed something about Star Wars Unlimited in that my kind of love for playing the game has been diminishing, although opening packs and stuff like that still has been pretty fun, pretty productive. So this might end up turning into like a collector's game for me, whereas playing the game isn't necessarily as fun as just opening up product and doing cool things like that. But you never know. So we've got a Grand Admiral Thrawn. A lot of this is basically just going to be bulk for me because I have copies of everything that I would need. So we do have, a Hyperspace Bright Hope. I have a stack of these, but it is nice to get one. And then we have a Bombing Run, which I will keep. And then we have a Hyperspace Admiral Ozzel. Hyperfoil, excuse me. Haven't seen this guy in a long time, honestly. So I'm not going to worry too much about sleeving these things just because that takes extra time and I can do that off stream. Hey, look, this guy's banned. But yeah, building decks is something that I find very difficult. We have ourselves a Hyperspace Wampa, which is fun. We have another Bright Hope, Fifth Brother Yoda, a General Krell, and a foil ATRT. We're going to keep the Krell. I wanted him to be a little bit more usable, but it just seems like there's not really decks out there utilizing double green super effectively outside of Palpatine, and Palpatine does different things. Although realistically, if you have Krell on the board and you're defeating your own units of Palpatine, you can draw extra cards. Hey, look, this guy's banned. But in terms of like actually pulling together decks and playing them, I find myself wanting to be more competitive than I am. We got a Chimera and we have a foil Moment of Peace. And my skill in the game itself, I don't think is good enough to realistically hang with most of the people that do play this game. And I know there are some people out there that be like, well, duh, you're a bad player. And it's like, I'm not necessarily a bad player. I'm just not a good player. And there is a difference. We have a Hyperspace Snowtrooper Lieutenant. I haven't seen one of those in a while. Sorry, I know I'm shaking the camera and the desk. But sometimes you gotta admit it binds all things, and an ardent sympathizer when, you know, you're not good enough to do something. And if that ends up being the case, then you just got to figure out what your strengths are and go from there. I used to be a very good deck builder. I haven't really been doing too much deck building in this, but I used to build decks for competitive teams for other games, which was super fun. They end up being better players, obviously. We got a Wedge Antilles and a foil General Tag. So, but you know, it is what it is. And sometimes you just gotta admit when you're defeated. And I have been defeated. I still enjoy the game overall. I still think it's cool. I think set 4 coming out is going to be really cool. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff that's involved with that. We have ourselves a hyperspace vigilance. Excellent. That's fantastic. Gotta love it. We have a Fet's Fire Spray and a Hyperfoil Patrolling V-Wing. Love getting that Vigilance. I traded one of my Vigilances off for the Gar Saxon Showcase that's sitting up there, plus a bunch of other stuff. So it's nice to have another one. If I can get 2 more, I might build a legitimate control deck. So, it's hard to do pack openings and also talk at the same time because you're looking for specific things and then just trying to do what you can. Ooh, Super Laser Blast. Heck yeah. I did not pull any of these back in SOR. And a foil lethal Lothal Insurgent. I think he's also kind of lethal with that rocket launcher. I like theme, and I'm finding that there's a lot of games that I play that don't like making theme effective. And I think that we have a Hyperspace Escort Skiff. I think that a lot of players are going to counter, ooh, a red 3 and a foil Jedi lightsaber. Heck yeah. A lot of players will say theme decks build themselves, so they can't be the most powerful things. And I think that I'm not asking for theme to be the most powerful. I just would like theme to be competitive. And right now, they just aren't. Like the best example of a theme deck that was competitive was either Sabine Rebels back in set 1 or Leia Rebels back in set 1. But like even Imperials themselves, like Tarkin was never super popular. The Derek deck from set 2, it was kind of like a rogue deck that could take wins, but wasn't actually winning much in terms of a like skill expression for what is provided in the game. Force throw. We have a Consortium Star Viper foil and a Lando Calrissian. So, and in set 3, there are no real high-level Republic and Separatist decks. They just don't exist. I think that Dooku is better than most people give him credit for, but even still, like, he's not going to be the high end of competition when it comes to Star Wars Unlimited. We've got a foil Fighters for Freedom and an Admiral Akbar. And I think that's disappointing because people come to games to play. Most people come to games to play their favorite things. You know, me, set 2, I did my Mandalorian stuff and it failed miserably. And that's a real bad feeling. I started set 3 with Captain Rex and it failed miserably. And that's a really bad feeling. The fact that I got so far that I did with Grievous in the videos that y'all saw is actually very impressive for what Star Wars Unlimited had been presenting for itself before. We got an Agent Callus and a foil Surprise Strike. We'll always take those. And even though I won 1 match out of like 8, 9, I still felt pretty good, minus realizing that I just needed more power in the deck and I couldn't provide that with the way that I wanted to build the deck. Hyperspace Jawa Scavenger. Shout out Garbage Rollers. We got a Hyperspace Entrenched. Ooh, we got a Sneak Attack and a foil Miscut Regional Sympathizers. OG Miscut, by the way. So yeah, that's half the box so far. That's kind of where I'm at with games in general. I think it's not just Star Wars Unlimited that I'm being disappointed by. It's kind of everything that I'm being disappointed by. If I didn't feel like Yu-Gi-Oh was the type of game where I would encounter people that were not cool. Hyperspace Frontline Shuttle. We have a Wolf. And we have, ooh, a Hyperfoil Devastator. This one I will sleeve because it's right here. Very nice. Could have had that months ago. I would generally potentially try to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but the problem is that the themes that are good are not themes I want to play, except for the new theme out of their deck builder pack, Circuit Breakers, I think is what it's called, which is called Ryziel, but everybody thinks that's going to be good and everybody's going to be playing that, so it's going to be super expensive. And that's the main problem with Yu-Gi-Oh is that it's very expensive to play that game competitively. Overwhelming Barrage, always good. We've got ourselves a Security Complex and a foil Rogue Squadron Skirmisher. So there's only so much you can do when it comes to playing games with theme. And when you have competitive players like you do in this game, playing theme becomes even more impossible because those competitive players are being competitive and they're pushing out regular decks, theme decks, tier 2 decks, tier 3 decks, and just coming in and being like, you know what, we're going to be the ones that take over the game because we want this game to be something that it wasn't originally designed to be. Got a home 1, which is fantastic. That'll probably end up in the trade binder. And a Hyperfoil Vigilant Honor Guards. Very nice. Tried playing Leia Blue back in set 1. Didn't work. Wish it did, though, because that would have been a cool theme, cool rebel theme. Another band dude. We got a Administrator's Tower. So, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, you're just complaining to complain. Technically my channel and I get to do that, but at the same time, even if that's what I'm doing, Hyperspace Spec Force Soldier, you have to admit that there are, when you look at Star Wars Unlimited, sometimes it's not about playing Star Wars. It's about playing good cards that have good stats and good text. And the colors and shapes are the only things that matter, not the person who's on the card, right? Wing Leader. Got ourselves a 7th Sister and a miscut foil Jetta Agitator. So that big black bar right here, like you could even compare it to the card that's before. Definitely miscut, but that's okay. Even if I'm complaining just to complain, there has to be a recognition that trying to play a themed deck just doesn't work. Go out there and play Hera the way that Spectres is supposed to be played, and come back and tell me that the game is okay when it comes to theme. So I'm hoping with MJ saying, ooh, Hyperspace Chariot. I don't think I had that. I'm hoping with MJ saying that there are certain traits that are being pushed outside of vehicle and like capital ship in set 4 that we might get some fun theme stuff that's based upon the set. And if not, then, you know, it's been set 4 and I can kind of just give up on any of that type of dream. We got a Rook. Haven't seen that guy in a while. And a foil U-Wing reinforcement. That's good for me. That can go into one of my binders. I have a binder back there of like stuff I'm setting aside for Hera if ever Hera can get good, which I'm not expecting. I know that there's going to be something dealing with Hera in set 4 because she's on the key art, but we have no idea what specifically it is. She definitely needs another leader, but because I already have a showcase leader, I don't want another leader. I just want things that make the deck good. And of course, being the guy that's talked about Hera for the entire time Star Wars Unlimited has been out, obviously I'm going to stick on something that I like. And you can throw the, you know, maybe happiness is on the other side of a bad, you know, bottom deck that doesn't really matter. But it does matter because it matters to me. And it should matter to other people, because if I want to play more, then I can get other people wanting to play more. And if other people want to play more, that cycle continues and continues. But if somebody shows up and just gets stomped and has literally no competition whatsoever, regardless of how well tuned their deck is, if they're not running the tier 1 decks, you just don't win games. So Underworld Thug. We have here Bodhi Rook. And again, a miscut Death Trooper. I think all the ones from this box are going to be miscut, which is fine. I don't really care. So a lot of complaining, but it is what it is. This video was originally supposed to be a deck list guide, not guide, but like my deck list for Anakin Yellow, and then also gameplay experience. But Path of Exile 2 came out this last weekend, and that's basically what I spent all my time doing. I'm taking time out of my Path of Exile gaming to do this. Galactic Ambition and a foil Mon Mothma. And I would much rather be playing Path of Exile, but I know that I should be putting out videos. And I've actually been thinking about opening these up for a while, so here we are. And if it ever comes down to that I get the opportunity to do a Chaos Draft again, or I need to buy the boxes, they're all infinitely available, so it's not going to be too much of an issue to get what I need. A Hyperspace Super Laser Technician. I haven't played this card in a long time. Something about this Hyperspace makes it feel like extra round. Like, it doesn't feel like a Star Wars Unlimited card, which is kind of interesting. So, Force Throw, we got a Gideon Hask and a foil Patrolling V-Wing. I've seen a bunch of those. A set 3 card they printed in set 1. We have ourselves Grand Moff Tarkin. I have a bunch of those. Coming up on the last couple of packs of this box here, we have a Regional Governors and a 2-1B foil Regional Governor. We've got 3 packs left of SOR. and then we move into SHD. Skipping right into the section where it matters, we have a Hyperspace Fifth Brother. This is not something I've actually pulled myself, and this looks really dope. This looks really dope. We have a rare Emperor's Legion and a foil Viper Probe Droid. We've already pulled 2 regular legendaries, a Hyperspace Legendary and a Hyper Foil Legendary, so I believe I'm expecting at least 1 more regular legendary, which would be nice if it was a Vigilance. We got a Leia. We've got an Echo Base. I don't need to flip that. All right, Fifth Brother. We've got an Electro Staff and a foil Ozzel. Got the Hyperspace, got the Hyper Foil, and now we got a regular foil. Now all I need is, I believe I already have a Hyperspace, but that would technically complete a quote-unquote master set of set 1. Last pack of my last openable box of SOR. Good luck to me. It's a Han. That's okay. We have ourselves a Hyperspace Guardian of the Wills. We have an Aggression. We'll take those. And a Hyper Foil Disabling Fang Fighter. I need to see if I think my what's it called? My Twin Sons deck already has a Hyper Foil version of Disabling Fang Fighter in it. But I have another one, which is fantastic. And an Aggression, which is also good. So, in terms of what we've got from this box, we got ourselves a Home 1, a Super Laser Blast, my first one, a Hyperspace Vigilance, a Hyperfoil Devastator, and a regular Aggression. I think that box turned out pretty well. Lots of interesting stuff in here in the Hyperspace Rare and so on and so forth stack. So we're going to set that aside. Honestly, all of this is just going to get bulk donation. If you have a local store where you can donate your bulk so that new players can play the game, please do so. It's very important to get people to be able to play the game. And yeah, one thing I hate about the paper packs is all the like glitter from opening the packs themselves. That's not fun. So next up, we have a Shadows of the Galaxy box. What I'd love to pull here is a Hyperfoil Mandalorian or a Hyperfoil Darksaber. If I can pull either of those and a Showcase Ray, I would be relatively happy. I should have planned this better. All right, whatever. So, set 2. What was your experience with set 2? My experience, as it's been recorded, was not great. Famously ungreat. I had a plan for a cool way of producing content for the set, and it just did not make the cut because the stuff that was coming out of this set was not as strong as the stuff in set 1. We've got Covetous Rivals, and that's generally okay, but building off of watching the previous meta decks get better, but no real new meta decks outside of like Kira and Han, which were deck types that I didn't really want to play. We got a Legal Authority and a Hyperfoil Privateer Sick, which is sick. That's kind of where I'm at. I guess Boss Blue, which also got some extra power in set 3. But y'all know it's Cad Bane. It's a new hot leader now that Boba's banned. Y'all know my experience with this set and how things progressed and how I wasn't particularly happy. Koska Reeves and a foil armorer. Specifically, great example of the way that the Mandalorians played. Now, I did play in California against somebody who had a very good Bo-Katan deck. But I think if I ran something legitimate as opposed to the junk that I had brought with me, I don't think that game would have been as close as it came out to be. Although my opponent was a very good player, so I can't discount the skill my opponent had. And with them being on Bo-Katan basically the entire set, they had an advantage over me of knowing their deck inside and out, where I did not know my decks inside and out. We got a Cartel Turncoat Hyperspace. We have a rare Xanadu Blood, and we have a foil Clan Ren Rescuer. So, upside down card. We had a lot of those. We have a Hyperspace Cad Bane. We'll go straight to the rare slot. We've got Evidence of a Crime, and we have a foil Tech, which is good. That helps me with my set of Bad Batch stuff. That was another thing. I really wanted Hunter to be a lot better. Because of the theme, and honestly, I feel like what I'm being told is that no to theme. Theme is not what should exist. I know that's like probably overreacting and hyperbole. We have a hyperspace Sugi. We have a legendary rule with respect. That's my second one of those. And a hyper foil Boba Fett's armor. I'm actually going to put this into a sleeve because while Boba Fett himself is not right now significant, a Boba 2 cunning deck can be pretty good and would utilize this very effectively. And then with the new Boba Fett that can be run aggression cunning red yellow from set 4, if you're not piloting, you could stick this onto him and that's pretty good. And then it's just a 2/2 plus there's also Boba units. It's also just a 2/2 upgrade for 2, which can help you push through some breakpoints that you wouldn't be able to do so otherwise. Speaking of Daimyo, we got a remote village. We have a hyperspace rickety quad jumper. I think I have a bunch of those in hyperspace. We have a Maz Kanata and a foil disabling Fang fighter. I harp on theme because it's Star Wars. You don't really see me harping on theme for Magic the Gathering or for Flesh and Blood because they like the keywords, the typal strategies in Magic the Gathering are relatively strong. And they do good in the format that I play, which is called Commander. And Commander is a much more casual format than what most players end up playing for that, unless you're playing CDH, right? And then for Flesh and Blood is explicitly a competitive-only experience. There are no casual players for Flesh and Blood. There are no casual experiences for Flesh and Blood. So theme doesn't really matter there. Plus, it's also its own thing. And you play a hero, and you only play hero cards that are associated with that hero. So we got a Migs Mayfield and a foil commission. So there's no real expectation of theme being a super big thing there, right? Unless you're me and you want to play Zen and you want to play Crouching Tiger Zen, and LSS goes no, which, you know. Remnant Reserves, I think this is one of the best hyperspace cards in the entire game because that white border on the villainy card is such a nice contrast. Plus the art here is incredible. You get to see those extra dudes. Although it does look like, maybe not. I'm not going to say anything about that. This is incredible art, incredible hyperspace. We have a Maul, shout out to Roll On Gaming. And we have a foil Ketsu Onyu. Fantastic. I still have that Lando showcase that I pulled because nobody, well, that's not true. Nobody wanted to trade for it initially. I got a trade/sell offer for it recently, but because the value of it is so low, I couldn't part with it consciously because I would have gotten like $80 for it. And while that's $80 more than I would have had otherwise for something that used to be like $170, I'll just wait for this set, Shadows of the Galaxy, to go out of print and wait for that card to go up in value. We got a Final Showdown legendary. It's actually my 5th copy of that. And a foil Cartel Turncoat. Showcases I want are expensive. Showcases I don't want are not expensive. Showcases I have, I should say. We got a Guavian Antagonizer in a hyperspace. Love that dude. Justice for Politik not being in this set. We have Django and Mercenary Company foil. Fantastic. I think that this set was very fun to open, but it was not a very good draft or sealed experience. Just the way that things were set up and built out. We've got a Swoop Down, and we have a foil Gray Squadron Y-Wing, which is nice. 12th pack of this box. We've already got 2 legendaries. Ray. Let's see. So we have ourselves a Mystic Reflection, and we believe we have a Hyperfoil here. We do. We have a Hyperfoil Echo. Look at that. Very nice. I'm hoping there's a couple of extra cards here. I might make a fun Hunter deck in the next set that is green-yellow. To just try to do game actions and just do fun stuff. Taking game actions is generally fun, even if you're not, necessarily winning. We have ourselves a Marauder here, which goes well in that deck. And then we have an Underworld Thug. I liked a lot of the cards that were in Shadows of the Galaxy, but a lot of the cards that were in Shadows of the Galaxy were not competitive or good. I think Finn has some viability, and it just hasn't been built yet. A Hyperspace Mercenary Company. And then we have a Prey Vizsla and Bounty Posting. So, boom. Previsla, immune to issues with pilots because it says non-vehicle units. So you don't have to worry about that at all, because you're not going to get a pilot on a non-vehicle. We have a hyperspace ray and a hyperspace death watch hideout. I see a hyperfoil back here. Ooh, we got ourselves a Poe Dameron. Heck yeah. I might actually trade out the one of these that I have in the collection for a foil one so I can trade the foil one off. I just bought this for like $1. Night Owl Skirmisher, though. Look at how clean that text is. Just smuggle. You don't need anything else. I love that. I think that's fantastic on those hyperspaces. Got a Kylo Ren. We're looking at a hyperspace Tarful. We have a triple dark raid, and we have a foil covert strength. Apologies for the lack of focus on the camera here. We have an upside down. I had a lot of those in set 2. Let's see. So we have a Tarful, and then we have a foil unrefusable offer. 2 rares, not terrible. So, Fennec, a lot of people wanted her to be pretty good. We know how that went. We have a Wanted. I think I just have a foil. I don't have a hyperspace, but I'm still searching for the hyperfoil. We have a Mandalorian armor and a foil Guavian antagonizer. Hoping to pull a Darth Maul out of the legendary, out of the next set, Twilight Republic. And we got a Dr. Evazan and a foil Fen Rao. I don't know if I have a foil Fen Rao in my Twin Suns deck. I'm trying to do like full hyper foil, like highest rarity for my Twin Suns deck, which is going to be legal for another 3 months. We have a hyperspace Lando Calrissian. We have a hyperspace Maz Kanata's Cathel. We have a hyperspace Vambrace Grapple Shot. We have a Heroic Resolve and a foil Heroic Renegade. I have a box down here that has all my hyperspaces and all my foils in it, and it's getting pretty packed. So we got a Han Solo leader. Let's see. We got ourselves a hyperspace IG-11. Cannot be captured. We have an inspiring mentor and a foil upside down foil Kylo Ren. Very nice. We are already at our normal legendary plot here, but being able to get a foil one, extra rarity, is always nice. Moving on, we have Hunter of the Haxian Brood and Lom Pike. Lom Pike's a character that I've seen a lot of people try to use. I have not seen too much success with it, but as per the conversation we had at the beginning of this opening, I don't really have too much luck in the game anyway. So, moving through the pack, we have an Omega and a foil Spark of Hope. Spark of Hope is another card that I've wanted to try to get good with, but haven't really been able to pull the deck out for it. So here we have the last pack of that Shadows of the Galaxy booster box that I had for Chaos Draft. Thankfully, I wouldn't have had to give up any showcases so far. We have a Hyperspace Wookiee Warrior. We have a Hot Shot DL-44 Blaster. Always love those. And a Warbird Stowaway. So, not as many good legendaries out of this, although we did get a Poe and a Kylo. So, can't necessarily complain about that. I do need this to add to the collection. I think that's my second or third one. And then this Boba Fett's armor. You know, I can't complain, but I'm not going to complain. So we'll throw this into the stack once again. And then set 2 is actually the one I have the most bulk of because I did open an extra case of it. So, plus I went to a lot of events to try to do well with that Mando deck, and history has dictated stuff otherwise. So the last box we have here is Twilight of the Republic. You know what would be great? Box toppers. Box toppers would be great. I've opened a lot of this as well. I did do my first draft recently, and while I went 2-1, and I didn't really get too much good out of my prize packs, I did end up pulling a regular legendary Ahsoka and also a foil legendary General Grievous, which finished my playset for Grievous and gave me an extra Ahsoka to trade, which we take those. So, and I had a lot of fun. I drafted a jank. What did I draft? I can't even remember what specifically it was. I know I gave away most of the bulk that I had because I didn't need it. It'll come to me eventually. First pack, we're looking for a Darth Maul. If I can get one Darth Maul, I would have a complete set of all the legendaries. Oh, and 2 Chancellor Palpatine, but I don't think that's going to happen. We got a Quinlan Voss. Loopy seems to be doing really well on Quinlan Voss Tarkentown. Go check out that video he's got for his thing there. I think if he ends up winning an event or top 8ing a PQ with it, he'll probably do a masterclass. So shout out to Late Night Gaming for that. We have here, a Hyperspace Petronaki Arena. I'm actually going to set this aside because I'm running this in my Anakin deck. So, in fact, we'll throw it into a sleeve. Not that it's necessary. And just set it here. Then we have a foil squad support and a Malevolence. I can't remember what my leader was that I played. Oh, I played Wat Tambor. That's what it was. And I played green, red Wat Tambor and tried to build something that dealt with a lot of when defeats. And on the rounds that I could get Wat Tambor's ability off, I did pretty well. But on the rounds that I couldn't, it was Struggle City. So we have a Hyperspace Confederate Courier. I actually think I need that for my Grievous deck, which I still have constructed. I'm just not using it. We have a Consolidation of Power and a Foil Republic Commando. Oops. Wat Tambor, actually pretty fun in Limited. So don't sleep on him if you've got a limited event available near you. We've got a Kraken, which I did end up taking out some from the Grievous deck, but he'll go here. Nice. Count Dooku. I actually need that to finish off a set. And our first legendary is a foil clone. A lot of people looking at that, super excited for that. It ain't it. I mean, clone is the most broken card in the set. That's easily worth $100. We've got a Hyperspace Coruscant Guard. Droid deployments. Not nearly enough droid deployments in packs. I have my 6th Ahsoka Tano. We take those. In Pursuit, I'll have 3 Ahsoka Tanos in my trade binder by the end of this. Newt Gunray. We've got a Pike Palace with a Clone Trooper on the back. All right, Plo Koon. A lot of people have been utilizing him very well. I've used him a couple of times and I've been underwhelmed, but I've seen plays used against me that have been pretty good. We've got an Aid from the Innocents and a foil Providence Destroyer. There are situations where there are cards that exist in Star Wars or in any game where one person says it's busted and another person says it's awful, and both of those experiences are valid. So we have a Kit Fisto. This won me a draft game, and then a foil droid commando. So I can say that I don't think Plo Koon is as good for me because it has not performed for me. But I can also say that other people have utilized it very well because other people have utilized it very well. Anakin Skywalker, incredible leader. Anakin Blue seems to be pretty big gameplay piece right now. We have, Brain Invaders and a Daring Raid foil. Very nice. Daring Raid, a very fun card, very good card. Ooh, we have a Hyperspace Captain Rex. Not that Rex is any good, but, you know, getting cool versions of cards is also cool. Heck yeah, we got a Reckless Torrent. I'm going to actually also set this aside because that goes into my little private collection of cool stuff. We have a Guerrilla Insurgency and a foil Soldier of the 501st. Pretty sure I have all the versions of the 501st that I need. We have a Count Dooku. And we got a Shock T. We have a General's Blade. Those are pretty good. I actually have one of these for trade, and nobody's bit on it, which is interesting. Padawan Starfighter. I imagine there will be a set in the future where General's Blade becomes a lot stronger. Maybe something that has to do with the Force? I should build a deck that utilizes General's Blade right now and see if I can get its value up. Chancellor Palpatine. Would still love to play him, double yellow. Haven't really put that together yet. We got a Stan Hill and a foil Clear the Field. Haven't seen that played much either, but that's also because I'm pretty sure all token decks are dead. Because the players that wanted to play them have realized that they suck. We have the Nest. We have a Hyperspace Holdout Blaster, good for those Django decks. We have a Hyperfoil back here. We have a Rush Clovis and a Hyperfoil Republic Commando. I mean, yeah, that's my second one of these. Love the Republic Commandos. It's a common, but it's also a cool looking card. Might not be a good card, but it's a cool looking card. I think I have another Hyperfoil back here. We're looking at a fine addition and then a Hyperfoil clone. That's easily worth $200. Obviously, I'm joking. We got 12 packs left of this, and then we will have opened all of our stuff. And I think the only valuable card I would have potentially given away as part of a Chaos Draft would have been that Vigilance. A Hyperspace Republic Tactical Officer. I'm actually also going to set this aside for personal stuff. We got another Kit Fisto and a Foil Private Manufacturing. I gotta make sure I get all this finished by Monday, since I'm recording this on Sunday, since I won't be able to actually be at my computer on Tuesday. We have a Hyperspace Kashik Defender. We have a Unmasking the Conspiracy, and we have a foil Bactoid Spider Droid. So, I want to build a Wookiee deck. I don't think it'd be any good, but I want to build a Wookiee deck. Ventress Hyper Aggro deck so far. We have a Hyperspace Heavy Persuader tank. We have another R2-D2. We've got a Luminara Unduli and a Denup's Loyalist. I've seen Denup's Loyalist used in Trooper decks, both Wat Tambor Defeat Troopers and then also just Captain Rex Troopers. Mace Windu. We have a Hyperfoil back here. We have an Invasion of Christophsis, which is the last one I need for the full set for that, which is awesome. And a Hyperfoil 41st Elite Core. Love it. So I've completed one play set of cards that I need. Trash in, trash out, right? We have a POW City, and we have a Hyperfoil Tactical Droid Commander. Ooh, I'm actually going to put that into a sleeve, even though it's going to basically just go replace one of the copies of the Tactical Droid Commander in the Grievous deck. I'm still collecting the cards for that deck and like upgrading its rarity base, because even though I'm not playing it, I still think it's a fun deck, and maybe it could come back at a later date in a fun deck event. We got a Hyperspace Republic Commando. We have another Luminara Unduli and our Knights of the Republic. Booyah. I'm surprised I've only pulled 2 Padmes so far. I guess it's because when I opened my case, I opened so many of them. Outspoken Representative. So it feels like there should be more. We have a Zillo Beast and a Hyperfoil Warrior Drone. Another card that feels like it's more round than a regular Star Wars card. We have a Hyperspace Newt Gunra. Moving through the pack, we have an Unmasking the Conspiracy and a foil Droid Spider Droid. Droid Spider Dwarf. Spider Dwarf Droid. Count Dooku. Sundari. I love the art on this. Axel Hutt, absolutely incredible artist in the set. And it's another one of those that, like, you can kind of see the, like, masking of detail with the blending of the art, and it's just incredible. Patrolling AAT, we have a Guerrilla Insurgency and a foil Warrior Drone. Got 3 packs left. No showcases in any of these so far. We got a Hyperspace Count Dooku. Already got all that. Back here we have a rare Hyperspace Count Dooku, which will take a Rush Clovis and a foil Self-Destruct. Getting close. We have an Obi-Wan Kenobi, another Invasion of Christophsis, which is our third regular legendary, 2 of the same legendary in the same box, which leads me to believe there might actually be a legendary in this one too. Luminara Unduly foil. That's actually pretty cool because that adds into, you know, part of my, not staples, but just like collection of kits that I carry. So here we go. Last pack of the last box that we're going to open today. We have Nalase. And we have, in our rare slot, a Malevolence. But in our foil slot, we have a Hotshot V-Wing. So we didn't end that all that great. But we did manage to pick up a stack of decent, you know, upgrades here. The Confederate Courier, the Kraken, Reckless Torrent for my binder, Republic Commander for my binder, Republic Tactical Officer, the Tactical Droid, and the Pechinaki Arena. Also Count Dooku for specific singles collection. And then we do have 5 legendaries in this. 2 clones, a foil and a hyper foil, an Ahsoka Tano, an Invasion of Christophsis, and then another Invasion of Christophsis. So there we go. I'm going to set these over to this side, set this here, and I guess I'll just set these like this. And that's going to be it for the pack opening. A lot of interesting stuff there. There you have it. 3 boxes. Lots of cool stuff coming out of those boxes. The Chaos Draft, I don't know exactly how it would have gone. I know there's some stores in the local area that have done them, but I haven't really heard too much about it, which either means nobody cared or it was really bad and they just don't want to talk about how bad it is. I think potentially doing something like with the new Jump to Lightspeed set coming out, you could do something to the effect of Spark of Rebellion and Jump to Lightspeed together, since there will be a lot more Rebels and Imperials with those. But I think the lack of synergy between each set means that it's very difficult for a Chaos Draft to be anything other than absolute chaos. And there should be some controlled chaos with Chaos Drafts. But looking at what we got with there, who knows what would have happened really realistically. Underworld would have been a strong contender as well for Spark and for Shadows, as we've seen with just the competitive meta as a whole with the Star Wars Unlimited meta game. Anyway, lots of rambling, mostly uncut video. I just wanted to make sure that I could get my thoughts out on video. If y'all have any comments about what you heard me say, if you agree with my theme stuff, if you don't agree with my theme stuff, if you have any thoughts at all whatsoever, throw them in the comments below. Thank you for joining me, folks. Like I said, PoE has kind of messed up my entire weekend. Plus, my wife is going out of town, so I got to take care of my dog, which means I can't be down here because it's too cold for her. Cold enough for me. I have multiple layers on, and the heater doesn't really generate heat down here all that much. But it is what it is. I don't really care too much about it. So thank you for joining me, folks. Appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you like this video. Subscribe to the Star Wars Unlimited channel for all of your Star Wars Unlimited needs. I will try to have a proper video of my Anakin deck next week. Whether or not I play games, it's going to be a little tricksy of me being able to get out of the house to do that. But we'll see what ends up happening. I get to use this Petronaki Arena if I do go. But that's it. Thank you, folks. Appreciate all y'all. Appreciate you letting me ramble to you while opening some cool packs. Hopefully you got to see some cool things as we went through. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all in the next one, and I will see you in the stars.